Hello and welcome to this little workshop for our brand new Village Life Two Red Robins die collection. I'm actually going to use the Minecraft Studio version of it and create some designs. I'm also going to show you how you can actually create different elements from one particular piece of artwork. I love this collection. I cannot wait to see what you create with it, and I actually can't wait to get crafting with it on Minecraft Studio, so let's jump straight in. We have the beautiful old vicarage die in this collection, and we've got this artwork in Minecraft Studio for you. It's absolutely stunning. I'm going to zoom into the page so that you can see it in more detail. Look at how amazing that is. It's just absolutely beautiful. The detail in here is just incredible. So one of the things I wanted to show you, the first thing I thought when I saw this particular piece of artwork was how it's going to lend itself to actually creating maybe an actual village scene rather than just being the old vicarage itself. So if I right click and copy and right click and paste, it's going to pop another one straight over the top in Minecraft Studio for us. So you can see we've got two of them there. What we're going to do is we're actually going to work with this one, and we're going to snip away the actual tower there. So we're going to turn this into a house rather than a vicarage. So we're going to go back to the Home tab, and we're going to use the scissors tool. So when we click on the scissors, you see that the image fades out, and now every click with our mouse is a snip with a pair of virtual scissors. So you can see I'm actually clicking around here, and it's drawing a line, and that's basically drawing the line that we're actually going to create with the scissors. So it's almost as if we're snipping away this image, but we're doing it all digitally. So we're just coming down this side here, kind of go around this little bush here. So I'm doing lots of small clicks here. So up in this particular area, you saw I did lots of long single clicks. But down here, because we've got this bush, I'm doing lots of little clicks, and I'm just moving my mouse side to side so that we get a little bit more texture, as well as the decoupage here as well. So we're just going to come around this section here. And then when we get to the bottom, because this is the piece that we want to cut away, we're going to come outside the edge here, up to the top, and then we're going to come down here. And you can see now that that line, that area has changed to red. And when I get back to the beginning, my black line is changing to blue. So when I click there, that selection is now made, so that it's gone from red to blue. If I just now zoom out of the page, we've got a few different options. So we can keep the outer, which keeps everything outside of the blue area. We can keep the inner, which keeps everything inside. We can copy, so that will copy what's in the blue area, or we can cut and then we can paste it onto another project. But we want to keep everything outside because I want to get rid of that particular tower. So you can see there straight away we've actually created a house. So it looks very different the second you get rid of that tower. And this is where with Minecraft Studio we're actually doing exactly as you would with your dies, we're just doing it digitally. So when you actually die cut this particular piece, it has all the lines in it for you to actually snip into if you wanted to. So just going to pop this one down here, and to come down here and we'll zoom into the page again. So we're going to snip a little bit more away of this one. So I'm just going to zoom out just a little bit so we can see all of that there. So what we're going to do on this one is we're actually going to take this section out. So we're going to go back to the scissors, and I'm going to come down this side of this roof, and I'm just going to follow where the line would go. I'm going to come down here and around this little curve there. Down here as one straight line down the wall, and then again lots of little clicks to get around the bush just down there. So you can see we've got all this detail, all this foliage here, so we just want a little bit more detail in those little clicks around there. And then we're going to come back down to the brickwork down here, and then down to the bottom of the ground, around the outside edge, and then around the top. Just going to scroll up the page, and then down to the beginning where again my line changes to blue, and we've made the selection. And then we come down and we're going to keep the inner this time because we want to get rid of everything outside, so we're going to keep the inner. So what we've done now is we've created a couple of different pieces from that particular image. So you can see we've got this one here. We can actually get rid of that little section as well if we wanted to, so I'm just going to go back in with the scissors. And I wasn't sure whether I wanted to keep it or not, so I did keep it, but I actually think it's going to look better without it. So again, we'll keep the outer, because we want to keep what's outside of the blue area. So we've got the little tall slim house now. Just going to copy and paste this one again, and again it pastes it straight over the top of the original one. So we're going to zoom into the page again, and we're going to come down to this one here, and I'm actually going to take one of these little windows out here now. So we're going to come over to this one, we're going to use our scissors, and we're going to come around this one here. So you can see there, we're just using our scissors, to just literally using the mouse to draw a line around the area that we're actually cutting away from the design. So you can see we've got a little bit of a line down there, and then as we come along the bottom, again the line changes to blue, so we've made our selection. So just going to scroll down, we're going to keep the inner, so we're getting rid of everything outside. So we've got this one here, and then we're just going to do the same again. So we're going to right click and paste, because this was the last one that we pasted. And we'll bring this one down here, and we're going to take this one as well, because this one's at a slightly different angle to this one. So you can see, we can see a little bit of the roof of that one. This one is actually straight on for us. So we're going to go back into our scissors, and we're going to create the snips around this one here. And we're just going to come around this bit, just along here, and then back up to the beginning. And again, when that line changes to blue, you make your selection, and then we zoom out of the page and we keep the inner, because we want to keep what's inside. Now with this one, if I just stretch this one up and use a digital punch, I'm going to come to our basic shapes, and we'll grab the circle. It pops in the top left corner of the page, so I just need to pull it down a little bit. I'm going to change it to an oval, pop it over the top of this window, just pop it over the top of there, just so that we're just catching those edges of that window. And I'm going to keep the outer, so we're going to keep everything outside of there. And there we've made a little birdhouse out of the old vicarage. So what I wanted to show you with this particular section of this demonstration was that, yes, this is the old vicarage, but what we can also do now is we can actually start to enhance this. So if we wanted to, we could actually stretch this one and make it wider, so it looks more like a wider house. But then what we can do is we can also pop it in here, right click, and send it to the back so that it's behind there. We can take this one and we can flip the design, so we can flip it there. What we can also do then is we can squish this one in a little bit, so it's got a little bit more of a different look to it, a different style. And then we can pop that one here. We can bring this one in, and we can actually stretch this one up, so it could actually be another roof that's poking out at the back of the building there. So again, I'm going to go to right click and order. We're going to send that to the back. So we're actually building a village scene, or even building a very large, beautiful mansion house out of the old vicarage. But we've done this simply by cutting into the original image. But if I just undo those little changes that I just made, so just pop these bits back where they were. So you can see I'm just undoing, and it's popping them back where they were. So you can see that's now back at its original size, and so is that one. This could actually be decoupage. So what we can do is, if I go to the effects tab and pop the drop shadow on, you'll see that we can pop this over the top and actually start to get the 3D look with our decoupage. So again, if I bring this one down here and bring on the blur radius, you'll see, if I just zoom into the page a little bit, just going to come down, grab this little one here, zoom back in, pop that one into place over the top. So that's going to go just there. And then we're going to go to our drop shadow again, and we'll just add the drop shadow there, so you can see that we're actually adding some depth and dimension. So this is just to give you an idea of what it would look like if you were to decoupage the actual pieces. So you can see whether you wanted to print it out as decoupage or not. So you can see there that will just blend straight back in, because we've popped it right over the top of where it was originally. But if we wanted to add a little bit further dimension, maybe we want this to look like it's been added afterwards rather than the roof flowing all in one piece, we can do that there as well. So I'm just going to zoom out of the page, and I'm just going to take the drop shadow off these pieces, and then I'm going to save my decoupage sheet, because we can then save that and we can print it out later and create a 3D card. So we're just going to pop this here, pop that one just over there, pop that one there, and we will save this as a JPEG sheet. So we're going to go to Save As, and we'll call it Village Life decoupage. I'm going to save it as a JPEG, and then we'll also save it as an MCS file. So we're going to call it Village Life Decoupage. Let's get rid of that bit off the end, and we'll save it as the MCSX file, because that means we can come back in and we can edit it. And maybe you'll want, maybe you might want 2 of these on. What we can also do is copy and paste this one, and then we can use what I would do to take the actual the foliage off there, I would actually use the lasso knife, because with that we actually just click and hold down the button on your mouse, and I'm just literally dragging it around this particular piece here. I don't need to worry about going around the edges because there's nothing there. And then come around this bit. I'm still holding that button down, so I'm not doing click, click, click this time. I'm just holding the button down and just tracing this particular piece of foliage. Then when I get back to the beginning, I let go, and then we keep the inner. So you can see we've actually kept that bit and created an extra little bit of decoupage to pop onto the page as well. So I'm going to save that one as a JPEG as well. So I'll save that as a JPEG, call it Village Life. It's going to ask me if I want to save over the top. Yes, I do, because I want to make sure I've got that little piece there. We can do the same again with all of these little bits of foliage up here if we wanted to. Lots and lots of different options as well that we can do there. I mean, if you wanted to, you could actually take this whole piece and actually use that as a layer of decoupage. So it would actually look like this bit, this part of the old vicarage extended forward as well. So we also have that as an option. I'm just going to create a new file, and I'm going to come back to the scene building folder on this particular collection. So on here we have the die set, which is called On Your Bike, which is based on this particular scene. So the die actually, it's one die, and it cuts out this piece with the gate and the wall, and then it cuts out the bike separately. So you get these 2 pieces for the die when you actually cut it out. Absolutely beautiful. But we have included the scene on the reflections for you, and also on your download. So what we've also done is we've included the scene with the gate without the bike, and then you also have the scene without. So if you wanted to, you could pop the old vicarage actually in the distance, and then you could pop the gate over the top. You can see there, got the old vicarage in the distance, and maybe it's an abandoned property, or maybe it's one of those where you can go for a lovely country walk through the park, and we've got all these different options here. But what I'm also going to do, so you can see there, because I've built that scene, I can pop the vicarage behind there. If we popped that over the top of this one, it would be in front of the gate. So because we've actually got the scene building elements, we can pop the old vicarage in the distance, pop this on here. I'm just going to bring the bike on. The bike does have this beautiful basket of flowers on, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to use our trusty scissors, and I'm going to take the basket away from the bike. So we're going to come along here, and just along here and around the seat of the bike there. And then if I just bring this back to the beginning, again, we wait for that line to change to blue, and then we keep the outer, because I want to keep the bike but not the flowers. And this time we can pop the bike onto the image. So if I zoom out of the page, you can see we've got the bike on the image. It doesn't have the flowers on, so maybe this is a card for a female, this is a card for a male. So you're not limited to having the image with the bike on it. You have the image without the bike, so that could be a masculine card, or you can actually add the bike to it yourself. And again, we've just added the old vicarage in the distance there. Something else that we do have on this particular one is our birdhouse, which is just beautiful. It's definitely a well-weathered birdhouse. So I'm just going to pop this on here, and I'll pop it just in this foliage just here. So I'm going to zoom into the page so that you can see what I'm actually doing. So I'm going to come along this way just a little bit. There we go. So I'm just going to grab hold of all these bits and move them along so that we can see them when I zoom into the page. Just going to draw a box over all of those and pull them over here. And then we're just going to zoom into the page so that we can see the detail on this birdhouse while we're actually popping it into here. So I've actually managed to somehow position that pretty perfectly on the wall there, as if it's positioned there already. But we're going to pop that just there. I'm going to bring on a little bit of the foliage as well so we can cover that up. So because obviously if the foliage has been growing around the birdhouse, you're not just going to want the birdhouse in front of all of the foliage on the design there. And then we do have our little bird who lives in the roosting rosa birdhouse. Just going to pop them just on there, or maybe they're actually perched on the gate. So we'll pop them on the gate, or actually they could be perched on the seat of the bike or on the handle of the bike. But actually I'm going to pop them on the gate just there to build our own little scene. Really, really pretty. So I'm just going to zoom out of the page so you can see the difference between what we've actually created there. So if I draw a box over this particular area, so you can see there, I drew a box. I didn't know. So what we do, if we draw a box over this, like so, over the whole white page, it will grab hold of this one as well. So you can see we've grabbed hold of that particular image. But if we just want these, as long as that box doesn't cover this particular image, all we've done is select everything within this particular image here. So we can now group that one and we can resize it up, we can resize it down. But this is our topper that we've created. It's our card front. It's entirely whatever you want it to be. So if I just zoom out, pop this onto the page. I'm just going to get rid of these two. Pop this fully on the A4 page so that you can see that beautiful detail there. Zoom into the page. So yeah, so there we've got the birdhouse, we've got the little birds out there, and we've got the old vicarage in the distance. So we're just going to save that one as a JPEG, so we'll call it Village Life Scene. And we've got that one there. And then what I want to do is just shrink that down because that's going to be a topper, I think. And then we do have the florals in the roosting rosa as well. So we do have 3 different colour options on here. So we have the pink, the lilac, and the almost a salmony pink there as well. So we have those different options. And then we do have that foliage that we added on top of the birdhouse in this particular one as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to work with the middle one here, I think. And we're going to tile this particular one. So I'm going to tile that one across and then down. And then we're going to copy and paste the tile. So copy and paste, and then we'll fill some of this space just here. So we'll pop that just up there. Back to the tile feature. And then we'll just pull that box out just to pull that section there and this one to fill the bottom. And then we'll just copy and paste again. And then we can fill a little bit more of the space just there. And then we'll just set the background. So if I go to the brushes tab, use my colour picker and select a very soft pink from there. Then I'm going to press the set button. And you see that's actually set, so that's actually changed the backing colour there. So if I just undo that, you'll see that it changes back to white. That may be the look you're going for. It's a little bit stark for my liking, so if I press the redo button, it pops the pink back in there. So I'm just going to move that one down just a little bit, just for personal preference. And there we've got a beautiful backing paper. So if I just click on there and save that one as a JPEG, so we'll call this one Village Life Paper. And you can see we've got that one there now. So if I bring this topper to the front, you can see we can pop this on here. We can do some matting and layering when we actually print it out, but this is actually going to coordinate beautifully. But also we can also use the original topper, which is the one with the bike with the floral basket on there as well. So we've got all the different options on here with this particular collection. So this is a really, really beautiful collection. I do love this particular one. It's just so pretty, and it's so evocative of those, you know, the Sunday afternoon walks where maybe you go and have a nice lunch somewhere and walk it off, or you go for a walk to earn your lunch. We do have the reflections on here as well, so you can see we've got the reflections that work with the dies. These are all included in the download, so if you did want to change the colours of them, you can do that. But you do have the digital stamps as well. So you can see there's the digital stamp for the bike. Absolutely beautiful. Really, really lovely little collection, this one. And I hope you're going to enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed this particular little class. So Our Village Life is, I think it's one of my favourite web collections that we've done for a very, very long time. I think it's just so thought-provoking, and it's kind of quintessentially British, isn't it? It's the countryside. It's where you walk into a little village and you see a country house down a lane and go for a walk in the park. Maybe you park your bike up and go for a walk. Maybe just take a picture of an abandoned bike. So many memories and so many thoughts that we can actually evoke with this particular collection. Hope you love it as much as I do, and thank you for joining me, and I will see you again soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye. If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.